Hey Springfield, I'm Dominique Gabriella, and you are watching Behind the Scene. And tonight we have Tony Menown, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. So I wanted just to start off with, how long have you been in the music industry? Or playing music, honestly?
I've been playing music in some capacity since I was, 5, 6 years old. Because I realized in school, which I did not like, if you sing, you get out of school. So every chance to get in choir and leave school, I would. And that lasted till probably middle school. And then I decided I was too cool for that.
Too cool
and
for choir.
I started getting into like blues, traditional blues, and some light jazz, and then I was like, it's cool. But I always kind of stayed around music because my dad was a working musician. There was always stuff around, and there was always musicians around. And then when I was about 18, I'd been writing. I was a major in writing at MSU. And suddenly, I'd always played a little piano and could dink around on guitar. And suddenly, I just had stuff in my head, and I started writing songs. And I'd play one or two for people, and they'd be, oh, that's nice. And then more people would ask me to play with them, and then kept going. And suddenly, people want to pay me to play music, which was totally an accident.
Wow.
I just did it for fun.
So, well, you mentioned your dad was in part of the music scene and stuff. And you've been here your whole life, Springfield?
Born and raised in Springfield. Had 7 unfortunate years living in Nixa.
7 unfortunate years. You're like, enough of that. I need to go back to Springfield.
It's a character builder. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So did you ever play with your father growing up? And
Never
did.
did.
You think that helped?
Having
him there?
I kind of kept it a secret because my dad was a working professional guitar player, and I was just some guy that made up stuff. You know? And I didn't know if it was right or wrong or out of tune or off key or in time. So I was probably 22 or 23 before he even knew that I played.
Oh my gosh.
Because a friend of mine had come over, and he was on break from college. He's like, whose guitar is that? And he's like, Tony's. Tony who? Tony Menown, your son? What?
Oh my God, your father didn't even know you were playing?
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah. That's nuts. But I've seen you play with him, in the last couple of years, obviously. So
yeah, we do lots of stuff now because, he had very distinct opinions and I had very distinct opinions, which is true of any father or son.
Right.
And then, somehow we both eased up and met in the middle. So now, he likes, funk and progressive rock, and I'm into jazz and western swing. So it's this odd mixture of, you want to play that? Sure, let's play that.
Wow. Well,
So
that's pretty cool.
he plays on the records I do, and we plays a trio. We're doing that this weekend.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of an ongoing thing.
It's an ongoing, strange series of events.
Well,
Could not have predicted this.
Awesome. So what, do you have any albums out since you've been playing?
I've got 3 solo, and I use air quotes because it's never solo unless you do everything yourself.
By yourself, yeah.
But I have 3 records. 2015, an album called Sacred Ground, which was more kind of a groove R&B funk thing. And then in 2018, probably my most well-known record was called 2, and it's very Americana and rootsy. And then last year, I did a record called Illumination, was a little bit more on the experimental side of progressive rock and some jazz fusion. And my dad's on every one of those in some capacity. But I always try to keep, there's so many people in Springfield that are so specialized and diverse, and they can do one thing that nobody else can do. And when you think as insanely as I do, why not put all these different people together? So that I'll get 12 people on a record, instead of just a core band of 3 or 4 people, because this guy can play really good in a minor key, and that person's a great keyboardist, and who can play some strange saxophone, who's a really nice background vocalist that can really dominate the sound. You bring all these people together, and it's this incredible melting pot, because I don't want any album to sound like the one before it.
Right.
It's just a huge thing to me. Even my favorite bands, when they flop and nobody likes what they're doing, I was like, I don't care. At least they tried something, I'd rather try something and fail than, make Hysteria Part 2 or something.
So what bands have you been in throughout the years?
Probably the best known band I've been with has been the Greene County Social Club. And that's been around since 2011. And that started out as more of kind of a funk light jazz thing. It was me and Sean Monday and John Anderson and Scott Monday and Jorge Lehman most of those guys aren't around. I mean, Sean's doing a lot of good solo stuff now, and John and I play together some, but over the years it's kind of evolved into more of a kind of a small groove quartet thing. And with that, we focus on mostly original stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, especially this year, almost everything I do, I focus on original stuff.
Well, that's awesome.
I mean, unless I'm getting paid out the nose and someone says, don't play any of your weird songs,
Right.
I'm going to play mostly original stuff.
That's awesome. It's always good to hear more original music. I mean, I love you guys that are cover bands, but there's just something about the, original music that comes out of Springfield that is just very special.
Well, and I feel like when I'm doing a cover, the reason people love that song is because somebody else did it so great.
Right.
Like when somebody says, hey, can you do something by the Eagles? I could, but they have 4 people singing really well and 3 guitar players, and I'm in the corner of a bar with an acoustic guitar, so I can't really accurately replicate what you hear in your head. So
Right.
why don't I
Just
play
play it
something I know
yourself,
I can do them really well?
Right. Yeah, just play it your own way or just do your originals. That's really good.
Yeah.
So what venues do you usually play at lately?
Lately, I have a lot of regular ones. I do one Saturday a month out at Bub's Distillery, Moonshine Distillery in Rogersville, relatively new. I do every other Wednesday at Ruthie's on C Street. Joseph keeps a really tight ship there, and it's very nice and social distance. The stage, it's the best load-in ever. Musicians, you should play there. You literally walk in the front door, here's the stage.
Yeah, he just built that.
Yeah.
During quarantine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It looked really nice.
And he's up for anything. Like I could say, I've got a concept album about bowling, and I want to play it on tuba and synthesizer, and he'd be like, go for it. So we've done everything from like a power trio there to straight up acoustic. Sometimes me and Richie Reba have played there and played like all roots rock. Me and Stevie Newman did kind of a blues night there. Just keep mixing it up. Let's see. Where else am I at? I do a ton of table rock stuff, but that's obviously warm weather stuff. I play at Flame fairly frequently for their events. I'll be playing February 13th and 14th for Valentine's Day weekend. First night we're doing more of a rock and roll thing. Then the next night we're doing kind of a jazz thing. So
Nice.
if you really want to get after it and have nice food, we'll be there Saturday. If you want to be relaxed and slow dance, then Sunday's your night.
That's awesome. Do you have any other projects that you're working on?
I'm working on 2 records right now. One would be the, I guess, proper follow-up to my last record, and it's all over the place. So I'm trying to corral that in. Because I write songs constantly, and many of them are terrible. I mean, that's just how it works,
Yeah.
You come with ideas all the time. You have to weed through what's good and what's not good, and if you got something that's good, you got to make sure it doesn't sound like anything else. Because if one of my friends or one of the guys I play with say, hey, that reminds me of Wicked Game by Chris Isaak, I go listen to Wicked Game, and if it sounds like that, I'm not going to keep going on this song, So I really make a point to weed through stuff. But I've got that, and then I'm working on kind of a strange all acoustic project, just completely acoustic, like upright bass and just very small combo kind of thing. And really try to capture, even looking at recording it live, just to get enough people in the room and move the right amount of air and just capture what's going on.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
But you've got to kind of decide,
Yeah.
what songs go where, because some stuff benefits from big production,
Right.
and some stuff doesn't at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can have someone in the corner just playing acoustic guitar, or just a piano and a voice, or even a cappella. So trying different combinations and different arrangements constantly. I had two sessions over the weekend, one for vocals and one for guitars. I got Stevie Newman cornered in the studio, and I said, just play. Just don't think. Because he's one of those guys that can really get inside a song, but when you let him loose, he's like Tasmanian devil. He's just all over it. And you start, I want to get that energy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
He's one of those people that you go to for a certain thing, and then you just kind of, this is the parameters, and let him loose, and he just roars.
Yeah.
And I love that about people. I mean, just what he does, he will tell you is simple, and he calls it hillbilly guitar. Nobody else around here plays that type of simple hillbilly guitar.
That's true. I have never heard anybody else play like him. He was just playing with Chapman just last week when we saw him. over at Great Escape Beer Works, and he's also been on the show. So it was
Very
really good to hear a little background on him, and also just hear him play. He's a cool dude.
Yeah,
He's a really
yeah,
cool guy.
he's super versatile. I think people only think of him as the guy in the Domino Kings, but
Right.
he can do anything. We have a little side project called the Reverb Brothers. He and I and Chris Blades from Transylvania and Pete Generous, and it's more.
Oh, wow.
It's not really country. It's not really blues. It's almost like this pocket R&B thing, where, of course, I'm shoving my songs down everybody's throat because we're going to play original songs. But
Yeah.
just the rhythm section, there's just that feel when you're on it and you can almost float. And like I was talking about earlier, when my eyes are closed, it's just there.
Yeah.
You know?
You're feeling the music.
Yeah, that wave, just whoosh, and he gets that.
Yeah. So let's talk about your first song that we're going to be playing.
Okay.
What is that about? The name and where you came up with it? A little history.
First song was Standing in the Sun, and I started that on my wedding day 11 years ago. It was pouring like cats and dogs, and my second marriage, so a little bit of tension there, you know. But my mother-in-law-to-be said, when this all ends, it's going to clear up, we're going to be standing in the sun. I said, that would be a great song title.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. I said, I'm not going to give you any credit, but it would be a great song title. And it took me like 6 years to get it done, because if you write a song about your wedding day, it better not suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly
You're not
when,
going to get any brownie points
no,
from your
particularly
wife,
when your wife
or your
hears
in-laws.
it. So I made sure to record it and have it out and kind of, get some feelers
Right.
out there. Then I said, oh, by the way, honey, the song's about wedding day. And it went over well.
Wow. Okay, well, guys, we're going to get to that song, and we will be right back.
Standing in the sun. Times in life, things won't go. You gotta go and make it right for yourself. Our other leaves like time to leave. This is a chance for better tomorrows. And the day it will come. We'll all be back there standing in the sun. Things are gonna be alright, just like we meet together here tonight. Questions that ask, so begins the task. We'll wonder when we started thinking. Giving to the love when we push we should. Get used to having that feeling. And the day it will come. We'll all be back there standing in the sun. Things are gonna be alright, just like you and me together here tonight. Never I'd seen those words in my dreams, I would have known just what I was thinking. Moments pass, good times can last. You get used to needing that feeling. And the day it will come. We'll all be back there standing in the sun. Things are gonna be alright, just like you and me together here tonight. I said the day it's gonna come. We'll all be back there standing in the sun. Things gonna be alright, just like you and me together here tonight.
Hey guys, we are back with Tony, and let's talk about the business side of being a musician. So, do you book all your own stuff? Do you have somebody else book for you?
I do all my own booking. I'm lucky that a few of the guys I work with, they always need somebody. You know, there's a duo or something. Hey, can you play with me on this? But probably 90% of the time I'm playing, I've done it. And I've done it long enough that there's, you know, a series of, I'm the good fill-in. When somebody cancels, I get called because they know I'll show up on time, I won't get drunk, and I won't break stuff. Which is really cool because then you get, you know, certain restaurant-type gigs where you are required to play a lot more cover songs, but you can sneak in your own stuff.
Right.
Which is really what I'm
Yeah,
about.
nobody's going to notice.
Yeah.
Because they're eating. And
They're eating, they're drinking, or if it's, you know, a really loud place, like I play Big Cedar Lodge, the Buzzard Bar, and people are there to drink, which is great. And yeah, I'll play Wish You Were Here. You can tip me $50, that's fine. But I'm going to play some of my own stuff too.
Right.
And then they don't really care because they don't notice. And after the fact, it's like, hey, I really like that song. Boom, throw a CD on them. Because I'm always really trying to move that ball down the field a little bit, you know.
promote.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful when people think, I should rephrase that. It's nice when people say things that are complimentary. Because when I was younger, people would say, hey man, you sound like Tom Petty. Tom Petty's great. And nobody in the world sounds like Tom Petty.
Right.
But when you're, you know, an emerging artist, you don't really want to hear that you sound like somebody else.
Right.
I've kind of got to where I'm cool with that. But it's like, you like that? You know, try a little bit of this. You know, I sound like a dealer, don't I? That wasn't good.
Try some of this.
This song's a gateway to me.
So, do you play other places besides Springfield and Branson area and Lake of the Ozarks? I'm assuming you've been up there.
I haven't done Lake of the Ozarks in a long time.
Really? Okay.
Mainly just because of the drive.
Yeah.
I mean, I as a kid, we would go to Table Rock like every weekend, and as soon as I get close to there, it's like, we're going to get in the water. I don't because I'm going to play music, but it still excites me to play on the water. Like I played at Watson's on the Water, which is just right there. For years, I did the Coyote Dockside. I was their Saturday night guy. So literally just walk out on the pier and play music.
That's nice.
The lake house, which is right there at Indian Point, you finish playing, you can walk towards the deck, and there's the water.
Wow.
It's just, I get really good feelings when I'm down there.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And
Water.
free food. I mean, free food's
Free
good.
food.
I mean,
Yeah, might as well play down there. Free food.
best bar food I've ever had.
So do you find it, do you have some type of system that you do for contacting newer venues that maybe they've never heard of you before? Because I'm sure it's easy for you to get booked in, you know, around here since you've been around here your whole life. But if you're introducing yourself and your band to a new venue, what do you find the easiest way to get a gig, get their attention?
As soon as there's a new place opening, I just go look at it, see what the size is, and just pay attention. I mean, if a place is having music, I will politely inquire, are you looking for more acts? If so, would you be interested in acts more geared towards original music? Because I have a video, there's a system called DistroKid, and all of my music is uploaded through that. So it shows up on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all the stuff, and they make little videos of you. So every song that's on all three of my records is on YouTube. And it's just a still video, but you can immediately send that like a business card. So like, I play stuff like this, yeah. And then of course they'll say, well, we don't want all original music. And I say, well, I have a repertoire of about 200 or 300 cover songs. But I am going to play original music, and I'm very upfront with that. And I don't want to mislead somebody thinking they're going to get 3 hours a Dave Matthews covers. No offense to Dave.
Yeah.
But
Like let Dave sing Dave.
Yeah, I'm here for my own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever, I'm sure a lot of folks that do mostly covers, they get a certain premium because a lot of people come up for that, especially a certain style of that music. And I don't think I have a certain style. I mean, I've played with jazz-oriented groups, country bands, funk stuff, hard rock.
Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't ask you what genre you would classify yourself under, because you're kind of all over the place.
I don't know the answer. I mean,
Yeah.
I sound like me, and for better or worse, that's cool because nobody else sounds like me. I mean, if somebody starts getting booked sounding like me, I'm gonna be pissed, and I want to know their name. But
Right.
other than that, it's kind of cool that people know they're gonna get a certain type of thing. It's not 2 or 3 chord rock and roll. It's not dance-oriented pop. There is some groove. you will find yourself moving your head before the night's over, and hopefully use a word that most people don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything that stands out in your certain performances that maybe not other bands do?
Self-deprecating humor. I joke before we start here. I wear a hat a lot, and most people don't know that my hair's falling out, but my hair's going thin. Springfield, this is it right here. Check that out. But I got ear hair and nose hair coming, so it's really cool.
It's sprouting out
Once
other
you hit
places.
40, it just yeah.
Do you find anything difficult being a musician? What's like the most difficult thing you've dealt with playing at shows and just being a musician in general?
I don't really have any issues except hauling your own gear.
Right.
And with that, over time, things have gotten lighter.
Right.
Things have gotten lighter and more powerful. When I first started doing this and I'd play solo, I had like a 3-channel thing that weighed like 65 pounds. And now the same thing is as loud and it weighs 20 pounds.
Yeah, just in a small box. And you
that's
just
wonderful. Wonderful. I mean, the instruments are better. Even cheaper overseas made instruments are far better than they were. Like my first real good acoustic guitar was a Martin, and it was American, and it cost a ton. And but if it was slightly cold, it'd go out of tune. And now there's stuff you can go to a Guitar Center and get something for $300. That sounds good.
What kind of guitar were you playing?
That is a Hummingbird. It's a variation of the I guess it's considered the Gibson country guitar, but that's a newer one with polyurethane finish that can take the weather and take the beat off of it. I like to play 12-string guitar mostly, but I've got a few ones in disrepair. I always put tons of 12-string on the records and live when I can bring it out, because 12-string guitar, you make twice as many mistakes. It takes twice as long to tune it. And there's always somebody in the crowd that says, "Hey man, you care if I touch that?" I do. I do mind if you touch that. Any other guitar? I don't care.
Yeah, you know they're not an actual musician when they come up and ask you, because usually actual musicians will not do that.
Even the other guys in the band, like, "Do you care if I pick that up?" Yes.
Yeah, it's different. It's like, okay, I trust you. Not this random dude that just kind of came up here stumbling.
That's just one of those. I love 12-string guitar. It was probably one of the big things that got me into playing. I mean, the Beatles and the Byrds and all that stuff, just that thick, jangly sound, and not just, chingy, chingy, chingy rhythm. Fills, and you can do a lot of unique chord voicings. You can make a lot of awful sounds, too, if you don't do it cleanly. But practicing it is just twice the time and twice the concentration. But
So how do you go about your writing process when you're writing new songs?
Sometimes it just attacks me. Like, I mean, my wife will tell you, I get up 2 or 3 in the morning and go to the back of the house. Fortunately, I have a dedicated music room with just crap everywhere. And I'll just sit there and hammer stuff out. Sometimes you'll have a song hit you and you'll be done in 15 minutes. And it seems like those are the best ones. And then some stuff you've got to whittle away like you're carving a piece of wood, and it takes 10 or 12 years. And that's what my last record mostly was, stuff I've been working on for years that I had set aside. And this is too weird for what you do here, and this is kind of off kilter, and just kind of crafting it into a little bit more of a cohesive thing. Because it was a bit of a thematic record, the last one. And I find lyrically I kind of gravitate towards certain themes, like loyalty and moving on and looking out for yourself. Those are kind of things that stick out to me, because no one else is going to do those things for you.
Right. So do you have any advice for musicians that are not really familiar with booking themselves or even writing their own tunes, but they want to do that kind of stuff for themselves?
Just try. Just start trying. I mean, you'll write terrible songs when you start. I did. Oh man, I have. I'm sure there's old 4-track cassette recorders. That's how long I've been doing this. And I found a box of 4-track cassettes from the late 90s, early 2000s, and there was garbage in there. Because there was a song about Bridget Fonda. That's tell you how old this was. And but you learn better. It's like anything. You get better at doing it. Mm-hmm. As far as writing goes, as far as booking goes, what's the worst they can say? No.
Right.
I mean, some places will at least let you play after somebody or before somebody or for a meal, you know, or even the classic for exposure. When you're just starting it out, that's okay. We've been doing it 15 years, you know, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't play for exposure. I mean,
Yeah.
I can expose myself. I don't, you know.
Let's get to your next song, actually. So tell me a little bit about this one that we're going to listen to.
Next song was called Has Been. That's off my second record.
Yeah.
And on the record, we really kind of gussed it up to make it feel like traditional Chicago blues. I really like that Chess Records vibe, and Richie Rebus played lead guitar on it. He just totally went Buddy Guy on it. Just absurd. But it's lyrically one of those tunes about moving on. I mean, friendship is great, but eventually when it runs its course, you can't let somebody walk on you just because you've been friends.
Right.
And that's really the point of that one. Pretty succinct. And that was a time when I was going through quite a few changes in the places I went and the people I associated with. And that song very much summed it up.
Awesome. So we'll get to that song and we will be right back.
Well, it took some time now, my brother finally learned me a thing or two. It was years in the making till I saw that other side of you. You made my long list of has-beens. Nothing left here to say or do. When you open your home to another, there's a chance it will get you in the end. Living given till the day is over, liable to break from trying to bend. My long list of has-been. Can't believe it all came to this. Someday this might all blow over. I'm not sure that quite rings true. I don't think my memory will falter. Takes forever to forget being a fool. You made my long list of has-beens. Those nights aren't quite so cruel. You made my long list of has-beens. Can't believe it all came to this. You made my long list of has-beens. Nothing left here to say or do.
And we are back. That is a lovely song. I mean, we listened to it earlier, but I loved it. I mean, your music is very unique compared to the rest of them around here, and I love that because each of you guys that I've known for years and years and years have brought something to Springfield. Springfield has its own genre. If we could put it like just a Springfield genre.
Yeah, there's something in the water.
Subgenres of the Springfield genre.
I don't know what it is. There's no two people around here that sound remotely similar.
Yeah, not at all. You guys all complement each other pretty much. So let's get into more about Springfield. What is it about the Springfield music community that you just enjoy, that you see that sticks out here rather than other places? Like Springfield has something special about it that you've ever noticed compared to other places you've been?
Well, there's more diversity here. I mean, I've spent a fair amount of time in New Orleans and a fair amount of time in Nashville, and there's very regimented areas where certain types of music are played. Mm-hmm. I mean, like we've got Dixieland jazz here, we've got blues here, we've got rock here. Here, you can walk downtown and there will be 4 different genres in 4 different buildings, all within a half-mile or quarter-mile walking distance of each other. Mm-hmm. And I think it's largely due to our location. I mean, country music is seeped in here. I mean, there's roots here from the Ozark Jubilee on up, and the connections with Nashville and Cy Simon and all those guys way back when Chet Atkins played here on the Jubilee. I mean, country is part of what we do here, but we're so close to Kansas City that there was a lot of jazz folk coming back and forth, and we have ridiculous level of jazz musicians in this town, and I don't know if that many people even are aware of that. I mean, that used to be kind of a taboo word to hip people, but mm-hmm. Jazz is cool, and you should listen to it, and you should not be scared of it.
Yeah.
And if it's a type that you don't like, that's cool. Go see somebody else, because you will find something that you like. I mean, there's people that are making original music in this town. My friend Brandon Mazzello does this kind of acid jazz stuff, and he put out an EP just last year. Huh. And it's like hip-hop grooves with jazz saxophone with bizarre chord voice changes that remind you of Steely Dan. And it's just all over the place. Now, he used to try to do that live back when we still had what was it? Underneath the Outland? What was that, for years?
Well, there's
the High Life.
Yeah, the High Life.
Yeah,
High Life, Outland Bar, Outland Ballroom, yeah.
And there's just, I mean, Johnny Strickler's still around, and Christy Meredith, and all these people, once we start having live music again, they're all over the place. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can throw a dart on a night and find something interesting in this town that you won't see in a big city. Mm-hmm. And then we get people from big touring acts here and at the Galois, It's a pretty unique epicenter of just styles. Mm-hmm. And I would guess that has just washed its way through me over the years, because I don't even think of terms of this is a rock song or this is a blues song. Like the second song we played was, I guess, more blues oriented, but it's just how I hear music.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that Springfield is lacking, that it's not getting the attention that it seems like it needs? Because it is a flyover state. I mean, there was that documentary that your father was part of, the middle of nowhere. It always seems it's been the same thing. It's like trying to get people to come out here has been difficult, and people don't even realize it's here. Why do you think that is?
I would guess that the revenue side of it is so modest, mm-hmm. people don't bother to come through here. I mean, if we had even a small satellite office of a record label here, there'd be people getting signed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know years ago when Slewfoot Records was around, a lot of local artists got signed and really made some noise. And Dale Wiley's, from what I understand, in the process of bringing that back. So that could be something that changes in the next mm-hmm. couple of years, because there's a lot of people that could very easily lay down a pro level record and put it out there and get airplay. Whatever that does for you at this point, I don't know, but at least play in bigger venues on a national level. Mm-hmm. Because you can gig all you want, but if you're wanting to go beyond, you got to have something out there. Mm-hmm. And it seems like there's a lot of folks that are reticent to record in this town. I mean, I know of 3 people off the top of my head in the last month I've spoken to that have good material that should have a product. And they're like, oh, well, what am I going to do with it? And for me, the answer is easy: empty your brain. Because if I don't, and I leave it up here, I get mentally constipated, and then it's just like,
constipated.
But it's hard to write more songs and do more stuff and go different directions if you're just backlogged up here.
Do you think of anything else that could be holding Springfield back with not getting to where it needs to be? I mean, it's hard to get people out, you know. And
well, I mean, right now, obviously, it's hard to get people out.
Now, but this pre-COVID type thing, you know, issue that it seems like Springfield has had.
Some of it, I think, is probably that there's still a mindset that downtown is dangerous.
Dangerous, yeah. Or Commercial Street dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, which maybe when I was 14 years old that was true, but Commercial Street has nice buildings and nice people and good businesses going on. And downtown is as safe as anywhere. And if you're worried, there's a cop every 50 feet. I mean, downtown is, if you want to see a policeman walk outside on New Year's Eve in downtown Springfield, oh my heavens.
Yeah.
I get stopped just walking to my truck, and I'm just carrying the guitar, you know?
What's in that case, sir?
Fortunately, I'm usually wearing a tie, so they let me slide. But, which is the only time I wear a tie.
Is New Year's Eve?
Valentine's Day, if you're really, really strict about it, but they're not this year. So.
No, you get fun ties.
No ties
no
are fun
ties.
to me.
No ties.
They're all, when you have a neck this large, it's really hard to get a tie that fits, you know.
What other kind of advice can you give, you know, people that are just maybe entering Springfield and they are want to get into the scene? Where would you suggest them to do the most networking?
The hub of it seems to be downtown, but we were just talking on the break. I mean, there's a whole new thing developing out in Galloway Village down there with 4x4 and Great Escape and all that stuff. I mean, even though Galloway Station isn't there anymore,
right?
It seemed, which they're doing just fine.
They're on Republic Road.
Yeah, they're on Republic Road, but there's just all these breweries popping up. I mean, we're like a brewery epicenter now.
So crazy.
I don't even drink, but that's cool.
Yeah, I think there's even a little booklet of all the different ones.
Yeah, the more people drinking beer, the more people are going to hear music. And the more people want to hear music,
Signal
the more times you can pay me. Yeah, Lost Signal's like my home away from home. I usually do my CD releases, and my dad and I play Father's Day there every year, and it's just the best pulled pork I think I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, that is a good place to eat. I've gone there a few times. So what's your favorite moment of playing a gig in the last, 3 years?
3 years. My CD release in 2018 for my second album, and my childhood dentist came up.
Oh my gosh!
And I hadn't seen him for years. He was friends with my dad from way back when.
Yeah.
And he had 3 CDs in his hand. I was like, Dr. Mappy, you got too many CDs there. He's like, no, I've listened to this. This is good. I'm giving one to family members for gifts.
Aww.
You're good at this. I was like, you don't like rock and roll. He's like, no, this isn't rock and roll. This is something altogether different. Which is what I'm after. I mean, I don't want it to be labeled as roots rock or folk rock or southern rock, which I don't have any leather vests, so I don't think I can do southern rock. But it's just music. You know, you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's good and bad. And even if you don't like it, it's still got value to somebody else.
Right.
Just because I don't get something doesn't mean it's no good.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm pretty
it's
square.
artwork.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty
really
square.
is.
There's a lot of stuff I don't get.
Uh-huh.
But when I like something, oh man. I mean, I haven't got enough sleep for the last 20 years because I go to bed listening to music with headphones on. And I fall asleep snoring. My wife was like, hey, you're snoring. I really want to hear that song, so I started over again.
Well, that's really cool that he showed up because he probably knew that you guys were playing.
Yeah. I mean, he knew that my dad was playing with me, and he'd known my dad from playing way back when. And I mean, my dad's a serious player. I mean, I just play rhythm and sing and make shit up. I'm just a regular dude. I mean, he's someone that people seek out to play guitar a certain way. And the fact that the musicianship, the level of musicians in this town that are willing to do that with me is pretty humbling. I mean, I'd like to say I'm bribing them or something. I mean, they get paid, but that's not anything
But
extraordinary.
they enjoy playing with you.
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah. They just keep coming back. It's not that they're just being nice. I'm sure.
But I'm not too loud, and,
Yeah.
and I'm clean. I'm good hygiene.
Yeah, well, that's good. You don't smell, so they will sit
mean,
by you and play music.
I refer to it as the most hygienic band in town. What we're all doing that thing.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I do want to know how you came up with your band name, though.
Which one?
The one that you were talking, the social club.
Greene County
Yeah.
Social Club. My wife and I got to New Orleans, and there was a group called the New Orleans Social Club, which was all those funk guys from the Meters, and just, I mean, George Porter and all these just legendary players. And we could not find a name. And Scott was writing down random words, and Jorge's writing down random words. I was like, look, we have something local, you know, people will endear us to everybody.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the Springfield Grocery League or something.
The Grocery League.
They didn't like that, you know, like, you know, Missouri Bowling Society. And we just kept whittling away words, and those 4 words stuck out, and we went with it.
And then here you are.
Yeah. And it's lasted more than a decade.
Huh. Wow, that is amazing. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it was just a side note. I thought about it earlier. I'm like, oh man, I need to know. What is the most memorable show that you've been to here in town?
Most memorable show I've been to here in town.
It could be whatever.
There's been a lot. Back when we had the Juke Joint.
Oh yes, I remember that
And there was
place.
that little, when Slewfoot was going, and there was this roots rock revival around town, and they would bring in all these bands like Robbie Folks, who worked with Lou, and the Bottle Rockets, and Sunbolt, and Wilco before they became Wilco.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah.
And they all played there in like a span of 6 months. And the stage at the Juke Joint, if you remember, was just right there. And in between sets, you could just walk up and talk to these people, and they would.
Yeah.
And I'd talk to Brian Hinman of the Bottle Rockets, and Jeff Tweedy of Wilco, and Jay Farrar of Sunvolt, and they just talk. I mean, there's nowhere to hide. It's a Juke Joint. They can go to the bathroom, maybe back to the little green room area, but people just talk to you.
Yeah.
And it kind of reinforced the magic that these people are larger than life, you know, because they can do this, but they're regular people, but they're also just regular people.
Wow.
I mean, there's no secret. I mean, they just play music like everybody else. They're just really good at it, and they're really successful at it because they're doing it on that level. But it kind of humanized it for me.
So that's kind of what really stood out to you was.
Yeah, I mean, it really encouraged me because I was just, for a long time, I would just play and keep songs to myself and not do anything. I didn't ever play a paid gig in public till I had what I thought was 3 sets of good material. And then I would, you know, supplement it with, you know, Whitesnake covers and what have you. But I just always wanted to go out and have enough to do my thing. And there was always a thing about, you know, places that pay publishing and places that don't pay publishing. And you can say, well, hey, I got all my own original material. I can play whatever you want.
Yeah. Wow. So is there anything that sticks out to you that you wish that more bands did in this area, you know, at their shows? Say, you know, because sometimes they don't, like etiquette, you know, having good etiquette with bands, you know, probably calling out the bartenders and saying, you know, pay your bartenders, make sure to tip your bartenders. I mean, that is something that bands do really well in this town about. But is there something else that you might have heard in a different town that are like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wonder why I've never heard anybody in Springfield do that.
It seems in other towns, you go see band XYZ play. XYZ is going to play their allotted time, and that's what they're going to play. And it can be a roaring, thunderous crowd of ovation, but if it's 11:46, they're done. I like that a lot of bands around here, like if they're scheduled to play 11, there's still a crowd. Play a few extra songs. I mean, you're already there. These people are showing something and interested in what you're doing. It's not like you hate to play music or you wouldn't be doing it. So I always make that clear. You know, if we're scheduled to play till 11 and there's a crowd, we're going to play some more songs.
Right.
Because this is why we do this for
Yeah.
people. You know, you're making a connection with people. We're not shooting a music video in front of blue screens. We're there to actually share a time and emotion and experience with people. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. You were saying that that bands should just keep going if there's a crowd.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, as long as they're not like cutting into somebody else's set, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I know a lot of places you get a certain amount of time. But
yeah, courtesy of the other bands.
If you're there and you got it and people want you, go for it. And don't be afraid to mix it up. Like I'm fortunate, so many of my friends are musicians, and if they're in the crowd, I tell them, that's cool. Plan on coming up here because you're going to play with us. It's not like we're here just to do our hits.
Yeah.
You know, I know what you do. Get up here and do it. You're good at it. You know, that guy can't touch my guitar.
That guy can. So let's talk about this show that is coming up. Your birthday show.
It's my annual anniversary, my 21st birthday.
Your 21st birthday, level 20.
Yeah, it's in its second decade. We'll be at Galloway Station on February 20th, and it's a fusion of both of my main bands. I play in the Greene County Social Club, and then the Good Man Underground, which is more of we call it power twang, because it's very much crunchy 70s roots rock, but filtered through like the Stones and Zeppelin. So from that band, I've got Richie Rebeth and Matt Struber on guitar and bass. And then from the Social Club, I got Kelly Brown on keyboards and Pete Generous on drums. And we'll play mostly original music, 'cause
that's what
what I do. I think there will be a couple extra guests dropping in. Galloway's really good in that they space stuff out nicely. So there's an actual area for the musicians, so nobody really gets up in your face, and the tables are spaced, and they're just very mindful of what's going on right now.
Well, that's awesome.
They limit the number of people, so I mean, we can only have like 600 people. That's fine.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
This really is. It really is. I mean, I as much as I do this and I'm at events, I still get anxiety, you know, with having a lot of people, and that was before COVID. So.
Yeah, and I'm a geek about it. I have my mask on until we start, and then I take it off, put it on my mic stand, then when that set finishes,
back on. Now, do you have any other advice that you may be able to give people out there, musicians, or even venues? Is there something that you wish that venues would start doing for the musicians?
Start earlier.
God, I wish they would too. I really do. I do not understand why everybody starts so late.
Nobody stays out till 1:20 in the morning to see a band play music anymore.
Right.
I mean,
well, the college kids, but
the college kids
come
aren't there
on.
for the music.
Yeah,
they're there for the
exactly.
booze, which is cool. But I mean, in the last 15 years, with the change of culture, with DUIs and Ubers and people getting home safely, nobody wants to hear you play E minor till 1:20 in the morning.
Right.
So if we start at 7:30 or 8. Like, look, Lindbergh's is great about this. They would have a series of shows from like 6:30 to 8:30.
Right.
And
then the later crowd at 9 o'clock to close.
So like the Detectives would play from 6:30 to 8:30, and you have people in their 60s out there dancing.
Right.
They get out of the system, they have a great evening, they go home. Then you got some young guys that come out and bring the stuff. And like you said, the college kids can do that.
Yeah.
Till 1 in the morning.
Yeah, I really wonder why more places don't do that.
And they would really draw well with those. I mean, I haven't been a college kid in a long time.
Right.
And I don't stay out.
I mean, there's plenty of people that still want to go out that are way past college age, and they just don't know what to do because there's really not that many earlier shows. That's too bad. So, venues. Musician right here is even saying it. You need to start earlier.
Let's start a movement.
Start a movement.
Hashtag early start.
Yeah, exactly. So is there any other advice that I have, any other questions that I might have not asked you, or you want to add anything?
Just thanks. And anybody who's a young musician, just do it. Just go. If people don't like you,
oh well.
You like it.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be playing.
Right.
I mean, I've had plenty of people turn me down and say no thanks, and they still do. But I still average 100 plus shows a year. So
You're doing something right.
fooling them, or again, maybe it's the hygiene. Maybe that's what's paying
Right.
off. I have a nice selection of Western shirts. I didn't wear this one night. It might have looked better with a microphone, though.
Well, let's talk about your last song, and then we'll talk about where people could find you on the interwebs.
Last song is All Right Now. It's an old song that took me probably 12 years to get finished, and it's been through 3 or 4 different band lineups, and I finally got to the right collection of people to really hammer that sound out. It's on my last record called Illumination, and on that one we did some weird stuff. We had 2 drum tracks playing off each other. Richie Rebeth really played some searing 70s progressive rock guitar, as he once described it as bacon sizzling. Just the fuzz is so right there about to break up. It's just so much. But it's a song about moving on, you know. I think misperceived as being dark or gloomy. But if you listen to the story, it's very much about picking up and moving on and making yourself better after a situation. It is over some really gloomy minor chords, but still, it's, you know, that's a nice trick I like to do. Happy words, sad music, vice versa.
That's entertaining. Where can people find you on the interwebs? Is your stuff on Spotify as well?
You find a streaming service, I'm on it.
Okay.
YouTube, there's videos of all the songs. Amazon.
Is it under your name
Yeah,
or the band name?
Under me. It's always under Tony Menown. I can never keep everybody together for a project to do something.
So you just do it.
So we just recorded
Tony
as my
Menown
name.
Music.
And I've got a music Facebook page for Tony Menown Music. I'm on the gram, as the kids say.
The gram.
I don't have an OnlyFans yet.
Yes.
But
yes.
if I could do some provocative posing with guitars, maybe I could
Maybe
pay for my next
Brad,
record.
you know, Brad Williams from Branson does this kind of stuff, but usually for women. You know.
I'm not picky. It's art, you know.
Yeah. He's a musician, big musician, but he does that on the side. But well, cool. I thank you for being part of the show, and we look forward to seeing your show, your birthday bash, because we will be there. Again, that's on the 20th or 21st?
February 20th, Saturday, February 20th
yeah,
at Galileo Station.
February 20th, so it's coming up really soon. You guys come join us and see both of his bands there. So thank you so much, and we're going to have your last song play us out. And thanks, guys, for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Used to hate the working out, hate the play. I didn't like what happened every single day. You're gone, I'm doing alright now. Alright now. Alright now. I said things, doing alright now. The years are simple, couldn't sleep. You even stopped me from counting the sheep. So you're gone, I'm doing alright now. Fell 45, about 29. Trail of smoke was all I left behind. These days I'm feeling alright now. Alright now. Alright now. I said things, feeling alright now. Alright now. Alright now. Since you've gone, doing alright now. gone.